All right, testing 1 2 1 2, testing the mic. Welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus, the WASDE report. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. All trades discussed are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully. And I do want to welcome everyone that's watching on YouTube. This is our free YouTube stream of the week. So thanks everybody for joining us. And let's start to talk about the WASDE report. I do want to do one thing for our YouTube folks, putting up a link if you want to join us and join the service. This is one way to do it, www.gotrade.com. 2024.com. Okay. What do we got? So last month, WASDE traded with the quarterly grains report. You would have thought, should have, could have thought that the quarterly grains report trading with WASDE would have been a gigantic explosion of epic proportions. And it just wasn't. And I'm a little bit, why the heck is it not on our DMM? Because I think it was not on the DMM because my boss was considering it to be a quarterly grain report, but they traded together. It was a winner, and we will be looking at that video. It was not a gigantic winner, but it was WASDE with the quarterly grains. There is no micro that we have ever tested or looked at, so I can't really give you any guidance about a micro on grains. Grains, they're $12.50 a tick. I believe there is a micro, and the way that you find if there's an instrument or not, just go to the margin page of NinjaTrader, and it lists all the instruments. I'll show you. I'll give you the link. If you go to the margin page, so let me grab it. Give me 1 second. My link would work. That would be nice. Why is it not working? Hang on. Let me try it a different way. Sometimes, oh, it worked. Hang on, sorry. I opened up 37 pages of margins and didn't see it. All right, so if you go to the margin page, and here's the link. There you go. It's just handy to have this sheet to begin with. Grains are not known as being monstrous liquidity to begin with, so I would be extremely careful. If I wouldn't trade any micros on grains without testing them. That's definite. So what do we got going here today? Contract-wise, I have checked volume, and ZS 324 and ZC 324 are the correct contracts. There is a significant amount of volume on the 5 contract also, which is too bad because it takes volume away from the instruments that we're trading. ZS and ZC on 3. It's still 12 days until rollover. And then if you look at 5, though, it's pretty high volume. There's a lot of volume on 5, on corn, which is surprising. I'm surprised it's that high. Volumes have gone way up over the years on corn, on the grains. And then ZS on 5 is pretty high also. I mean, that's tradable volume. No question, it's tradable volume. I trade the current contract, and I would trade the contract that has the highest volume. So what if you don't know what the contract is? You can always type the prefix ZS and then double click the future when you locate it down at the bottom, and it'll put you in the correct contract most always. Not always, but most always. You can always get into trouble at rollover. That's when sometimes you can get into trouble. So let's look at January 12th. And it was a WASDE report. Let's verify that. Let's make sure that I'm giving everybody correct info. How do you find the WASDE report? Do a Google search for WASDE. Go to the WASDE report and then scroll down, and down at the bottom, 2024 release dates. January 12th was a WASDE report, okay? And our next report will be March 8th. So January 12th, what happened? Like I said, it traded with quarterly grains. We had a DMM, a normal DMM. And it hit the first target. I got my second target, and then I just trailed too darn tight. Trailed too tight, because then it kept going. It kept going. It was a big, big move. Big move. So we had a nice profit, but there was even more profit available, okay? So if you hit your first target, you might want to just let it sit in safety and see if the move continues, because soybeans can move quite a lot. They can move quite a lot. I think, let me see if we noted, they moved 75 ticks in January. 75 ticks, okay? But it wasn't like a 75 tick burst. That's the difference. Now, corn has not been doing well, okay? You could see the moves are small. August was the only time in ages that corn had a decent move. We have been trading corn as a trap trade, but there's been no fills in ages. So we are recommending the soybean breakout. That's the trade we're recommending. That's the way I'm trading it. And I like it, okay? There is an alternative corn trap. If you were to get a big move in corn, this trap trade is not an unreasonable trade, but it hasn't filled in quite a while. Corn has not been a suggested trade, as corn has just gotten very quiet. It's just the way it is, but it has gotten very quiet. So I'm going to set up a breakout trade for the beans, for soybeans. I'm going to load my template. WASDE. I have a lot of templates, don't we? Look at all those templates. So what I'm looking for is a current template. WASDE soy, my newest template, ZS, goes back to October. So we're going to change the name, right click the template, rename it, make it today. And let's see what it looks like. So we're going to trigger at 58. We have a bracket of 15. I've got targets of 9 and 28. 9 and 28. December was a small move. We're going to watch the video on December. targets should be anywhere between 12 ticks and 75 ticks, in my opinion. Anywhere between 12 ticks and 75 ticks. Keeping in mind that if you make your second target pretty big, you'll probably have to manage your way out of the trade. Okay, it probably won't burst to a 50-tick target. Okay, that's not usually how it works. So I want everyone to choose their own targets. So the stop is 20, the bracket's 15, the activation is 11:59:58. And if it hits your first target, you definitely want to use the target one stop move. This is a report that does reverse quickly at times. It can, doesn't always, but it can. So I'll put my target to break even -2. Soybeans is the only choice in my opinion, Frank, because corn doesn't move. Hasn't been moving on any reports that we've been looking at lately. It just hasn't been moving. So I'm sorry about my phone. I have to let it ring and not pick up. So forgive the noise. I do want to thank everyone for watching us on YouTube. So, you can join our service with the link that I posted. But at a minimum, how about hitting that like button for us? Because I'm sure you like watching the way we trade. So we've got a soybean trade set up. Now, I'm not saying, look, you can set up a corn trade, but it's probably not going to move that much. It's probably not going to move. Yep, dive, dive, dive. The submarine has landed. Okay. I'm going to label my trade soy, okay? And of course, I'm going to save my template. Since we renamed it, let's save the setup. WASDE. So WASDE, for folks that don't know, is a grain trade, okay? And it takes place at noon, and it's not covered by the calendars. So how are we going to know whether we should cancel the trade or not if there's no fill? I would say almost always we will get a fill, and it will be pretty quick, very close to the noon hour. So it's not really going to be an issue. We should get a pretty big fit, pretty quick fill. So it shouldn't be a problem, okay? Shouldn't be a problem. So we have our brackets. Now, every now and then we've seen some strange pre-moves from these instruments. And because of that, you know what? I would say one time we saw a strange move before the news, and we changed from corn to soybeans. It was so long ago that I just don't think it matters anymore. We're just setting up a soybean trade. 11:59:58, brackets 15, and the stop is 20. Gonna check our time sync. Okay, so our trade's ready to go. We're going to check our time sync. Make sure our computer is in sync. Time is. Our computer is in sync. So corn, just for fun, we could set up that alternative trap trade, or we could set up an alternative breakout on corn. Let's look at the DMM once more. So if you look at the daily trade report, the last WASDE on corn, it only moved 7 ticks. It only moved 18 in November. And that was December. In January, let's take a look what corn did in January. So we're watching the right-hand part of the chart. So here's January. Negative 13 ticks before the news. Negative 12, negative 13. Negative 12 ticks before the news came out. It spiked about 7 ticks initially. 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16 ticks, 20 ticks. So corn actually had a decent move in January also. Okay. It was negative 12 and it spiked, looks like about 23 ticks. That's pretty good for corn. That's pretty good for corn. And last month was not a good reversal. If you notice, not a big reversal. And that's what my notes say also. So I suppose, if you think corn is back, right? If you think corn is back, you could certainly set up a corn trade. I personally would probably set up the trap. And if there's a big move in corn, there's a good chance it'll reverse. So I don't think there's a great opportunity for a corn breakout as much as there is for a corn trap. I don't think there's a great opportunity on corn in general. It just hasn't been moving enough. Now we don't know. Was last month an anomaly or is corn starting to move again? Here's December. Now that's only about a 9-tick move because the charts are spread pretty wide. So it's not a very big move in corn. And we had a pretty small move in everything in January. Everything was small in January. There was not a profit to be grabbed in December. Sorry, not January, December. December was a stop. Okay, December did not work. So what would I do if someone said to me, hey, you only have corn to trade on WASDE, there's nothing else available. You have to trade corn or trade nothing. Then what I would do is trade the trap trade. The stop is 20. It's probably not necessary. I think you can get away with a 15 stop. The time of the event is 12. Remember, I'm trading a different version. Time of the event is 12 with a prep of 5 seconds, and my tiers would be 23. I would really do 20. and 33. 20 and 33 with a stop of 15. That's what I would try on corn as a trap. And I'm going to just test that. All right. My guess is, I'm not going to guess. It might fill, it might not. I honestly don't know. I'm going to save that template so we remember how we did it. We'll call it WASDE corn. Today's date, 2/8. So tiers of 20 and 33, 12 o'clock event with a 5-second prep and a stop of 15. I mean, look, using the bigger stop gives you a little bit of more of a zone of safety, but I don't think we're going to get a 50 tick burst in corn. And that's why I think that 15 stop is okay, because the moves have been so small over the last months. Now, when you enable a trap trade, you have to make sure you see all the buttons. Make sure you see all the buttons, that your chart is wide enough. The final button is the combine button. You have a break even button, break even, close the trade button, adjust, which we don't use, cancel the outer tier, combine the orders. Okay. Sometimes we do that. Our grain seasonal. We've not looked at this report as being seasonal or not. The WASDE report, just like the gas and oil reports, and I could almost say always, have always had a history of movement. I mean, that's the thing. They've just always had a history of movement. Now, some might say, Roz, that this is the most important of them all, because this is planting season is coming up. So this might be one of the more important reports because it's a precursor to planting and getting ready. It's almost time to get ready. Or it might be a quiet one because it's not quite there yet. You know what I mean? But when we look at, okay, we got 5 minutes. So just for fun, let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. So exactly a year ago today, and notice that WASDE has been a really well-behaved report. This is February 23. Now, February, we were trading trap trades, so we don't have a fair comparison, okay? Movement was different in February, but we were trading corn. Soybeans had a very nice move last February, all right? That we can see from the video. There really is not a reason to think that we won't get a good move in soybeans, because that's what's been moving on the grain reports. Corn is an unknown because corn's been very small, and we don't know if January was an extra push from the quarterly grain report, or if it was significantly related to that WASDE and corn is making a comeback. We just don't know because there's only one report. We don't have a trend. We don't have enough reports to give us a trend. All right, 11:59:58. We trigger. Just a couple of minutes. All the folks watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Give us a little love over there. Hit that like button. We like you. You should like us. All right, so we've got about 3 minutes. And then we will come back at 12:30 for the bond auction, the 30-year bond auction. All right, so just a couple of minutes to go. Waiting on the WASDE. Five seconds before the news, the trap trade orders on corn will show up. They used to talk about WASDE on Financial Juice Pro. They did it for a couple of months, and then they stopped. And bonds are a regular setup. YM is a regular setup for the bond reports, Roz. If you want to, that's a regular setup. It wasn't a one-time thing. Sometimes they work. It's interesting. It worked yesterday. It is an alternative. It does seem to be an alternative way to trade the bond auctions these days. And we've been looking at those YM setups for a long time. So WASDE actually, remember, there's no calendar, so it's the fill that's going to tell us that we're in. Now, if it didn't fill for a minute and a half, we would cancel. But I'd probably go at least a minute. I would go at least a minute. Okay, it hit my first target. Remember, my second target is huge. So I'm trying not to trail all the way to it. So look, I was pretty patient. I trailed a little bit, but not so much that it was ridiculous. Made 2.25, which is okay. It could still go down further. I might still have been too darn aggressive on my trail, and I wasn't being that aggressive. I had a second target of 50, okay? Second target of 50. It may very well test the low. It may very well test the low. Corn, wake me up when it's over. What's wrong with corn on the WASDE? I don't know. I don't know. Corn is just a no trade. The breakout, not bad. Not bad, but not giant. No one should have lost money on that trade. Everyone should have made money on that trade. Everyone. So let's get a roll call. Come on. Roz, very nice. Very nice. Well, you didn't have the move. Roz, we didn't have the move. That's why it wasn't as good as the last one. We just didn't have a good enough move. It was not nearly as big as previous WASDE trades. You could see. Andrew, one contract, great little trade, great going, great going. Brian, ZL moved. So corn, minimal, like 5 ticks it looks like. Looks like it didn't move at all. ZL. Yeah, ZL had an interesting move. Looks like a little bit low volume on part of the wick. Doc, very nice, very nice. John, very nice, very nice. Hey, way to go, ZLH. First winning trade, that's always a fantastic feeling. And very smart to take it with a WASDE. Why not take it with WASDE? It's a family money trade. It says it on the schedule. The one good thing that I don't like to be superstitious, but let me show you one good thing. There's an error on the DMM. December was a stop. So I've got to get that fixed, okay, because it matters. We had a better probability, in my opinion, of having a winning trade today. And let me show you why. So the DMM, look, every now and then, we make a mistake. We are far from perfect. There's so many reports, and I'm not making an excuse. I'm telling you the truth. There are so many reports. It's absolutely impossible to be perfect. It's impossible. There's too many reports. Things get confused every now and then. December's a loser. December's a loser. It was not a winner. We looked at the video. Now it looks like price is going down. It's going to test that low, I think. But look at December real quick, right? It was a nick fill, okay? It just fills to the long side, and then it reversed. December was a loser. Roz, what are your notes? Yeah, it was a nick fill. It was a whipsaw. It filled the end of the bracket and changed direction. It was a loser. So I'll get this fixed. I'll tell my boss to fix that. But it increased our odds that we were going to have a winner because we didn't have 8 winners in a row. We had our 5 or 6 winners in a row and then a beautiful loser. You want an occasional loser. You're going to have one. It was, you got to have losers. You can't have all winners. It's just not going to work that way. So December was a loser. That gave us better odds for today because we didn't have 8 winners in a row. And probabilities matter, whether you think they don't or not. It's a factor. It's not the biggest factor. It's not the most important factor, but it's a factor. It's just something that affects what we do. So I wasn't sorry to see that. Doc, if you want to send me your trade, I could use it for the weekend. Hey, CLH, can you send me a picture of your screen with the winning dollars showing? And I can put you in my video because it's your first trade. Do you know how to take a picture of your chart trader? Take a picture of your chart trader. I'll remove your account from the picture so people won't know your account number, and send me your profit of $180. And I'll feature you in our members trade of the week because that's like your first winning trade. That's awesome. Now, folks on YouTube, come on and hit the like button. You watched us trade a winning trade. Clinton, how you doing, buddy? Hit the like button on YouTube. So how do you take a picture? You could use the snipping tool. On the taskbar is this scissor That's the snipping tool, okay? If you click it, it gives you this screen, snipping tool. If it's not on your taskbar, it's in your accessories folder, okay? And you can just click on it. It'll give you this screen. You click new, and then you just hold your left mouse button and draw the area you want to take a picture of, let go, and sometimes you'll see the picture and you just right click it and do a save as. If you don't see the picture, click the snipping tool again, and it'll give you the picture you're going to save. Right click, save as, give it a name, okay? First trade would be pretty awesome, and save it so you know where it is. Put it in your download folder, okay? Put it in your download folder and save it, and then you can email it to us. Give it a shot, and if you get it to me, I'll feature you in our members trade of the week. And look, folks, if you waited and waited, I'm not stupid. I'm not the world's greatest trader, but magnet trades work. And the soybeans, they're going to test this low. And, you know, we could have done that as a secondary trade. It would not have been a bad continuation trade to risk, you know, $100 on. Here's the test right now. It's coming right now. Okay. Any questions? We're going to be back in 20 minutes for bonds. Does anyone have any questions? I love WASDE. WASDE went through a bad period. I guess it's probably about 2 years ago now, where 1 year WASDE just wasn't as good as it used to be. Sort of like ADP. I want to thank everybody on YouTube. Thank you all for watching us. Hit the like button on your way out, and hit the notification bell so you know the next time we're streaming. And we'll see you all on YouTube next week. www.gotrade2024.com. Take care, everyone.